Hey, everybody.
God damn it. I was like, do I talk in the middle of this or just let him run out of breath? Does he pass out and just die on the intro or what?
Oh, no, I can go longer. Hey.
Oh, my God.
Welcome to episode 83 if you haven't already clicked away.
Yeah, fuck, sorry.
Good one. This was a solid one. In case
Dude,
you
we
guys were
gotta
wondering.
fucking
If you were
figure
like,
out something.
if you guys were like, hey, like, was this a good one? We'd be like, yeah, it's a good one.
Is this a
Like,
good one?
Which
Like,
one isn't a good one?
The other 82? Like, yeah, fucking course it was. Yeah, it was fun. It was actually it was a really good back and forth. Like, even with the small little latency, like, we always figured it out, but there wasn't a weird gap. It was just thing after thing after thing, you know? I like
there's a good motley of topics in there.
Yes, and one of the main ones is your boy Elon Musk, so brace for impact.
Probably the name of the title.
brace for impact. Get it? Because like meteors, we talked about that.
Oh, yeah, good one. All right.
Yeah, nice.
With that being said, please introduce episode 83 as we start now. Welcome to the Nick and Tub
podcast. That was good.
Yep.
Again,
Solid.
I'm always fucking stoked on it.
I want that fucking dumb podcast. I like it.
It's fucking good shit.
That was so good. Dude, this is the best fucking thing we've ever done.
Okay,
But
so I went to Yosemite.
oh, fuck yeah, man.
Oh, dude, did you see any of it?
Did you put it on stories?
Oh,
Oh, okay.
probably
Yeah,
weren't.
no, I didn't see it.
Yeah. So I went to Yosemite with Manny and Rachel and one of Rachel's friends. And it was a 1-day trip. Like, we just went out there really quick. We got this fucking hotel that was like in the middle of nowhere, like an hour and a half away from the Ahwahnee Hotel. That's like dead
Oh,
center
yeah.
of Yosemite, the main
Mhm.
point you want to go to. And it was a fucking blast, like from start to finish. Pure fucking chaos, because it was just like one thing after another and trying to figure out exactly what we're going to do, which the spontaneous trips are always fun, but always like
Yeah.
at any moment it could take a sharp turn, but went
Yeah.
smoothly. It was great.
It could turn into a 2-day trip real quick.
And so we the first day and driving and the night and like everybody's kind of just drinking, hanging out. That was cool. And then the next day we went to bed at like 12, maybe 1 a.m. and had a plan to get to the Ahwahnee or at least one of the viewpoints for sunrise. So we had to leave our place we woke up at 4 a.m. So we were in the car by like 5, which was just fucking rough to do after you were like drinking and driving all yesterday. Well, not drinking and driving. Let me separate those. You were driving all
Drinking
yesterday.
and driving all day yesterday. All the fucking cars and kids I hit. Man, it really takes a lot out of you.
So after all the driving and then the drinking and the beds
Road
were
sodas.
road sodas that just hit you.
Yes. Oh, that's fucking hilarious. Oh my god. Sorry, continue.
So after all that, and then only sleeping for like 2 or 3 hours, because I'm a really light sleeper. I mean, I sleep alone, so any noise from other people, like, I'm not used to. Anybody's breathing changes, I'm up. Like, if somebody goes like, I'm up, I'm going. So I slept maybe like a total of an hour and a half. Anyway, point being is that then we drive to the Ahwahnee, or at least a viewpoint. The viewpoint in the morning is like 20 degrees, so it hurts, but it
hurts.
fucking beautiful, dude. No one out there is talking because everyone's exhausted. There was like 30 people and everyone's just kind of like talking super low. So like you get to actually enjoy what you're seeing. And Manny and I took all of our pictures, which I finally got some where I'm just like, dope. Like, I haven't gotten photos where I was like, the ones I took of Linda, I've been having a really hard time editing. For anybody listening, I took photos of Linda roller skating. I don't know if I ever mentioned it. And I have been trying to get an edit together. And I have a wedding that I'm going to also be editing, but it's just like the color's been rough, right? With these ones, I know I'm stoked. So,
Mm-hmm.
we
I mean,
go
you
to
got Yosemite in the morning. That's like the greatest setup you got.
Yosemite in the morning, and then the sun peeking over the mountains and starting to burn the other mountains, because it's called burning when it like starts to first peak at the tip of them and it turns it red, because it literally looks like it's on fire, dude. So then we end up getting in the car like an hour after being there, and we go to the Awani Hotel, and this is where it was like, this might have been one of my favorite trips I've been on in a really long fucking time, because in the back of the Awani Hotel is pretty much an entire forest that you can just walk around, and we go to a bridge. The water's low. Normally it's high enough. I found out from Alex, a friend we had on here. She was like, that's actually the bridge that we go to during the spring when the river's high, because that's the bridge I jump off of to swim. And I was like,
Oh shit!
because when I went, it was the water's like down to the rocks. So I was like, it fills up like 20 feet. And she's like, oh no, it turns into a full river. And I was like, that's fucking sick. So we're on that bridge and we look over and we see a deer. And Manny starts walking toward it, because I was like, Manny, go get the fucking photos. Like, go do your thing. We'll stay here. And he starts walking toward the deer, and it's down the road. And the deer starts walking toward him. And I'm like, holy shit, like the deer's just giving Manny what he needs. And then eventually, no bullshit, Manny's within like 6 feet of this deer. And I didn't know this, because normally they run away, but like this one was like, what's up? Like a loud ass truck drove right next to it, because it was on a road, and it just looked. Somebody on a bike came riding up. It just stayed there. Manny's taking photos, and Manny got his photos. I wanted to let him like have his time. I didn't want to just be like, oh, I'm going to take photos with you. So I gave him like 10, 15 minutes, and then I went over there. And this thing literally got within a fucking foot of me.
Yeah.
And it's just hanging out. And I was like, I'm just taking photos. Like, it doesn't give a fuck. And I was like, this might be the best experience of my life. Like, it's just a wild fucking animal that could at any moment drop kick the shit out of me. And it's just hanging out. And it was like, it just seemed friendly, because
the Yosemite deer are very used to people.
That's
since
what
it's
I
such
realized.
a heavily traveled area. I've had some like within a foot encounters of deer in Yosemite before, because they're so used to people, and I'm sure people feed them too, that like after so many encounters with a person and the deer doesn't die, the deer's like, okay, I think I'm okay. I'm all right.
Yeah. I don't know. I never know like if people want credit when you're talking about them, or if they'd rather stay like unknown. I don't know. So I always just say, someone hit me up and told me that check yourself for ticks, because which I didn't pet it, and it didn't get like super fucking close to me. I know ticks can jump, but
well, even the grass.
True. So Manny ends up veering off and doing his own thing on the bridge, and I just keep following this deer. And it's just like walking with me. It's hanging out. Like, it's on my fucking side within like a couple feet. And I'm just trying to get photos of it. And then this family comes up. It's a woman with her 2 kids. And I think the husband was there, but he kind of just did
Is that your deer?
And people were like, they're like, oh, look at the deer. And I was like crouched into the ground. So when I stood up, they're like, oh shit, there's a guy there. And I was like, yeah. And so
you crouch up, they're like, ah! Just scare the fucking deer away.
So the woman comes up with her kids, and she's got like probably a 6 or 7 year old, and then like a 2-year-old. And I'm talking, this little girl's like tiny, and she's just like wandering, walking up to the deer, and she gets a little close, and the woman's like, I forget what the kiddo's name was, but I don't know, Sky or something like that. She's like, Sky, like, come back, and she's too far, and she's got a lot of shit in her hands.
Kitty.
And like, I don't know what to do in this moment. So I look at her, I'm like, hey, I'm just asking, like, do you want me to stop her? Cause she's within a couple feet. And she's like, no, she's good. And like, she got her like last second, and she like grabs her by the hood and pulls her back. And she's like, sweetie, like, I used to pet elk, and when I was a kid, we used to come here, and an elk shoved its fucking antlers into my rib cage. Be careful. And she's little and she doesn't understand, so she's like, "You can feed him goldfish." So the mom gives her goldfish, and the little girl goes just running up toward it and smacks its ass.
Oh my god!
And I fucking freeze because I'm like, she's either about to go flying, she's getting punted, or everything's gonna go okay. And so my heart stops for just a second when she smacks its ass, and it fucking jumps and goes, "What the fuck?" Like, it turned and stared at her and was just like, and then it just walked. Dude, it was the coolest fucking deer ever. It didn't fucking go after her. It wasn't pissed. It didn't run away. It just kind of jumped. It looked at her like, "Did you really just smack my ass?" And then it just kept eating. And I was
You
like,
found Canella. That's what you found.
that's what it felt like. I was telling Mantis so we could be famous. But super fucking cool, dude. And then I just was like, "All right, you guys have a nice day." And I just went on my own. Like, and then we threw out some blankets. We had some coffee and some snacks. And I don't know if you've ever been to Yosemite in the freezing cold. Not the freezing cold. It's not like the coldest it's been. But the sun to shade temperatures are not like 5 or 10 degrees.
Yeah.
It's like
No.
20 or 30. And
It's rough.
we
yeah.
we knocked out in the sun, and then I was passed out because I was like, "Oh, dude, this feels nice." And I woke up within 10 seconds of the shade when the sun set behind the mountains a little bit. And I woke up like, "Oh my fucking God." The shock.
It's like
your
someone
body-
threw cold water on you.
That's what it felt like, dude. And I was like, "What happened?" They're like, I shot up. They were like, it sounded like you were having a seizure because I was like, like I was freaking the fuck out. Point being, sleeping in the sun in Yosemite in the fucking like colder temperatures. So we just moved into the sun and just kept sleeping, following the sun, and then that was pretty much it. We tried to go on a hike and it didn't work, and we went home. But
the drastic temperature difference in Yosemite is the same in the summer, except in reverse. Like, you're in the shade and you're like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." And you step out into the sun, you're like, "I'm dying."
didn't you go recently in the summer?
I went to Sequoia.
I keep
in
thinking
July.
it's Yosemite. I keep switching that up.
It's relatively close. Like,
Okay.
we
Yeah,
passed a exit or two that was like Yosemite this way, and we were like, next time.
Hmm.
But yeah, Sequoia is fucking magic, dude. Yosemite's
is.
fucking magic. It's super cool in Sequoia because of the fucking older than time grandfather giant trees there. They provide so much fucking shade in some areas. You're just walking in this canopy.
When you posted up the photo of you hugging the tree, which I've been around those, it's still like every time I see it, I'm like, "What the fuck is that,
Dude, there must be something like I'm gonna coin it right now. I'm gonna call it the like Sequoia effect. But after you have left Sequoia for a certain amount of time, your mind will slowly start to shrink the size of the trees in memory until you go back, and then it's like
That's
back
actually
to what
not
they actually are.
That's not bad. I think that's kind of accurate because every time
Dude.
I see them, I'm like, "What the fuck is that thing?"
Yeah, I forget how fucking big they are, and then I go and I hurt my neck looking up at them.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's just it's fucking. There
Dude.
aren't words to describe how big those fucking
The
trees
fact that you have to walk around it and it takes you a good 10 or 20 seconds to walk around the fucking base of it.
are. Circumference of it. Yeah,
That's insane.
I have a coworker who has never been to like Sequoia or Yosemite or Big Sur or like any of these places, and I'm like, you don't understand what you're missing out on. Like, Disney is cool and Disneyland is cool, but like Disneyland bases its shit off of these real
Pretty much,
places. You want to see what the real shit's like? Go to these fucking national parks.
Yeah.
Like, it's nuts. When we went to Bryce like a couple months ago, it's magic. It is fucking magic.
Mhm.
Same thing with Zion. It doesn't seem real. It
Yeah.
seems like you're on a different planet, and then you like fall asleep on the car ride home, and that's the spaceship taking you back to Earth.
Right. Like, one of the ones that I want to visit is the Grand Canyon. I've yet to do that. I've flown over
It's-
it a handful of times, but
Yeah, it looks like a painting. It doesn't look real because it's
Yeah.
so fucking big.
yeah. And like, I just want to go out there and be like, what the fuck is this? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what do we look? And another thing I want to do is, I don't know where it is. I know that there are. It's at least one. The impact of one of the meteors that hit Earth. Where is that?
Yeah, I think
It's got to be in
Arizona.
the fucking yoo side of the United States. Like,
I think it's in Arizona.
no,
The crater.
no,
Yeah,
it's not that close.
it's that close. It's like Arizona or Utah. It's like a state or two over.
No. I'll look this up really quick. You would think that I would use the computer, but honestly, I don't like things interfering with. Okay, I put packed, not impact. Cool. I want to see like shit like that. The Raider Fort crater.
Well, there's so let me see.
I'm trying to find this.
So meteor crater natural landmark in Arizona.
Oh wow, in Winslow. Wow. There's one
Yeah,
in
and
Texas too.
It's fucking insane.
The one in Arizona.
Yeah, the one in Arizona. I mean, like, if you pull up the first picture on Meteor Crater,
Fuck.
there's a road next to it, and the road looks like a string.
Sorry everybody.
There's also the massive crater for Crater Lake up in, I think it's Washington. There you go. There's the reaction.
Fucking hell, dude.
Yeah.
That doesn't. Okay, tangent time. Does that not fucking scare anybody else when you look at that and you go like, shit in space like that just fucking exists? Like, there's fucking things out there that, like, when people were like, oh, there's a meteor coming for Earth. Oh, it barely missed us. Bitch, be scared. Be fucking scared. That is gonna fuck you up. It's going to literally obliterate everybody if we get hit by one of those. That thing's fucking huge.
That's not even the big one. That's the best part.
What do you
You know the
mean?
one. Okay, so you know how the dinosaurs got taken out by a meteor, right?
Uh-huh.
You know they know where the impact is, right?
No.
And look up. It's basically the entire gulf of a part of a country. You'll have to just look up like meteor impact site killed dinosaurs or something like that. It'll show you a satellite map. It won't show you a aerial picture like the Arizona one.
That's not real, is it?
You'll have to show me. I don't know what you're looking at.
Like that thing?
No, that's fake.
Okay,
That's-
I was
that's
like,
Photoshop.
what is that? Wait, what am I looking for?
So there's a meteor, the meteor that killed the dinosaur. Okay, so it's look up this Chicxulub crater. So it's CHICXULUB
Uh-huh.
crater. Look that up.
Okay. That same
And
image
that's-
keeps coming up.
No, that's not.
Okay, is it that
real.
thing?
No, that's the Arizona one, I believe.
Jesus Christ. Sorry.
So you have to look at the map. So for
Oh.
instance, this one is it. I'll show you. See, that's the Gulf of Mexico.
See, but that doesn't do anything for me because like there's no like you get what I mean? Like there's no real
Yeah. Well, let's see this.
I want to see a photo.
Well, it's been so long. I mean, it's been
Okay,
literally-
actually, so I zoomed in on maps and just kind of like getting oh my god, dude, that thing was fucking huge.
yeah. So
What the fuck? Maybe
Um,
that impact thing, as much as it is fake, is showing the general idea of what that looked like, you know? Like
yeah.
it's not the exact
So-
thing.
To give you an example, Nick, I did a quick conversion for you.
Of course
um,
you fucking did, you super nerd.
So the meteor crater, the one you saw in Arizona, the one you were freaking out about, is 1,200 meters in diameter.
Okay.
The Chicxulub, or however, I don't know, I'm fucking butchering it, The one that killed the dinosaurs is 150,000 meters in diameter
Whoa.
compared to 1,200.
Oh. What do you mean,
So
mate? Well,
So you
hold on.
so
Explain.
so look at the one in Arizona and don't add just 1 0, but 2 zeros and then some change.
Dude.
And that's how big that one is.
What the fuck?
It literally created like multiple year-long winter.
So I pet this deer in Yosemite. Jesus, how the fuck, man?
Mm-hmm.
Space is fucking terrifying.
Oh, it is the final frontier. It will eat us alive.
Literally at some point.
Everything 99.99999999999 million nines 9999.
No. When you were saying it, I was going to start screaming it.
Percent of space will kill you.
Oh, yeah.
That's just fact. Like, and I didn't put enough nines. That's
No.
like, it's all death. It's all death. And then we have our itty bitty molecule of life, which also is mostly death.
Pale blue dot, dude. Pale blue dot.
Yep.
Like every so often, right? And it doesn't happen a lot as much as it used to, which is probably better for my mental. But I used to sit there and think like, huh, my problems aren't as significant as like the size of the universe, but you can't wrap your brain around that, and you also can't like dim down
Never.
your shit. We always talk about that, but the point being was like it was sometimes comforting to think if nobody knows what the pale blue dot is, look it up, and what you're seeing in that photo is it's a tiny dot in like a ray of light, and that is Earth taken from a satellite from fucking a distance that doesn't even
Far.
make sense. And it's just sitting out there by itself. I don't know how it captured only the Earth, but it did. And it's just this fucking tiny little dot out there. And that's what we're floating around on. To actually quote somebody I haven't quoted in a long time, Joe Rogan says we're just a bunch of fucking space monkeys on a spaceship, like floating through the universe. Like that's literally what it is we're not just sitting here and things revolve around us. Like the Earth is flying at speeds we can't even grasp because of how large the Earth is. Just flying around space, just going in these crazy ass circles, floating around this fucking fireball that controls our life. None of it makes sense, dude. Like it blows my mind when I think of this shit. It doesn't make any sense.
We get disconnected from it, getting
A
caught
lot.
up in our little human games. But my like latest reminder that I got of that, where I really kind of like it actually hit me, was when I brought out the binoculars and looked at the comet that recently passed over, and it was crazy because you're like, oh, there's, this is the general direction I know that the comet's in. And you put the binoculars up to this dark patch, and then it's just so many stars in that dark patch.
Yeah.
And all the dark patches around those so many stars also have so many stars. And it's fucking nuts. I remember seeing through the binoculars this like little fucking star. Or actually, no, it was a decent sized star, but it had these little dots, like 3 dots around it. And I was like, what the fuck? And so like I take the binoculars and I'm looking at it, and these 3 dots are like close to this thing.
I know.
And so I pull up the app and everything. It's fucking Jupiter.
Dude.
And it's so wild that like that's there. Like you can just look up and see a planet way fucking bigger than ours. Like way fucking bigger than ours. And its moons with the naked eye.
It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Like, this is where, when I think about, and we don't have to go down this rabbit hole because we've done it 100 times, and I also don't want to talk about death. But like, when you die, like the idea that we talked about, how we were talking about, like, oh, what do we think is going to happen? Mine of like you die and then you just become this thing that can just float. Like you can float, teleport, whatever. You're hanging out with everybody that's ever lived ever. And you're just floating around Earth. You can go inside Earth. You can go out to space. You can look in the ocean. Like you can forever explore because the universe ever expands. That kind
It's
of
the
shit.
fully unlocked mode on Minecraft.
Yes, it is the cheat code for every video game ever, and it's like God mode pretty much, where you can just like woo, you go right, and like any time zone or anything like that too, which would be so fucking sick because it just never ends. Um, when I think about like space, I'm always crossing my fingers like, please, I'm not going to be able to see it in my regular life. Let me float. Like, let me just go. Let me wander.
Okay, it.
Let me fucking wander, dude. Let me go and look at this shit.
Let me float.
Because I just want to see it. I just want to like, it sounds so fucking cool, man.
I think before I die, I would love to be able to see Earth from space. To go on one of those fucking tourist rocket trips.
I feel like there's going to be
I feel like I'll be an old man and Elon Musk's fucking legacy he's left behind will be able to get me a $10,000 rocket trip.
Yes. Dude, hold on. I just thought of something that I guarantee if he was given the idea, he would probably do, because this is the kind of guy that would do shit. Like, he does the shit that you think of in your brain as a kid, as a teenager.
You're like, well, what if we just put something in our brain and then it told us what we're thinking?
Let's
like,
send
okay,
a
buddy,
car into space. Fuck it, because we can. Like,
and you're like, okay, little buddy, it's a little harder than that.
and he
then
goes,
Elon
no,
Musk
fuck it,
comes
they're
out and
right.
does
Send it. Like, he straps that shit, duct tapes it, and shoots a rocket up there, dude. He is the type of guy that I would imagine for shits and giggles, because I would fucking do it just to kind of like my last little shitting on the people that don't like me type thing. I would build a rocket, but it would be a statue of me with one hand on my hip and and the nose of it would be my other hand looking up, and it's just a rocket designed with him in mind, or like at least him painted on the entire side of it so it looks like he's shooting off to space before he dies. That, yes, like I would do some shit like that. And I just thought about that. That's actually a really good idea. I'm gonna pitch it to him. Fuck it.
I'm sure his ashes will end up on Mars.
Yeah, or like scattered throughout space.
Yeah, I'm very confident that part of Elon Musk, whether it be dead or alive, will end up on Mars.
He fucking chops off one of his fingers and send it. Like, he's that kind of fucking guy, dude. Like, go ahead.
I watched this video about how Tesla doesn't have a marketing team. They don't run ads, and it's because they have Elon Musk. They don't need to, because Elon Musk will put a Tesla into space, and then news stations will be running Tesla.
Holy
and talking
shit,
about
that's
Tesla
genius. I didn't even think about it
for
that way.
fucking days. Or the astronauts that are going up to the space station will be driven up, not in original NASA cars, but in Teslas. And so when they're recording like this historical thing of SpaceX taking people to space, they're recording the Teslas driving him up there, and like with the futuristic doors opening up. And this dude will go on and smoke a blunt on Joe Rogan's podcast, and news will run everything about him and about Tesla. And it's like, as long as he's a newsworthy character, his companies will get advertisement for free. And so they don't spend any money on ads.
Dude, Tesla tequila?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he fucking made the starting price of the Model S 69,420.
I love him.
69,420. That's who's running this company.
Dude, his tweets are fucking all over. I think when he made the Tesla tequila, he was leaning against one of his Teslas with like a sign as if like he's gone, and it said like bankrupt or some shit like that.
I remember that, yeah.
And I was like, dude, there's no better way. The dude made a fucking flamethrower and sold it and made a fuck ton of money off of it, because he knew, hey, people will buy these fucking things and it will never happen. I'm never going to make another.
Yep. Did I ever explain to you his short shorts
No.
thing? So did you hear about the shorts that he sold?
Oh yeah,
They
yeah,
said
yeah.
sexy on the butt of them, and
Yeah.
it spelled S3XY, all the models of the Tesla.
That's funny.
So the reason he sold shorts is because, do you know what shorting a stock is?
Mm-mm.
So shorting a stock, like if you buy stock, you basically are betting that it'll go up. If you short a stock, you're doing the reverse. You're betting that it'll go down. So what you do is you can go to like a certain broker and say like, hey, I want to short this stock. So they loan you like 15 shares of that stock and you immediately sell it. And then you wait for the price to go down. And with that same money that you had, say it was 10 grand, now those same amount of stocks are worth 8 grand. So you buy those stocks that you owe, give them back, and you keep the profit.
Oh,
That's what shorting a stock is.
okay.
And for a long while, Tesla was the most shorted stock out of all the stocks. Like everybody who was like an analytic geek about stocks was betting that it would go down, and it kept going up. And this is the problem with shorting a stock. This is my advice: never short a stock,
That's like
the most
gambling
amount of
on
money.
gambling, dude. That doesn't.
Well, because think about it this way: if you invest in the stock, right, you want it to go up. The most amount of money you can lose is everything you put in. Right? Say you put $100 in, the most you can lose is $100. You put $1,000 in, the most you can lose is $1,000. Short, but the upside is unlimited, right? That $100 could turn into $1 million. You have no idea.
Yeah.
The reverse is true for shorting. What you put into the stock, the most you can make is 100% on it. So the most you can do is double your money. The most you could lose is unlimited. If you buy 15 Tesla shares at $100 a piece and then sell them because you think they're going to go down to 90, and then you can buy them in and take that profit, but they go up to $500, you have to pay the bank back. You have to give them 10 shares. And so that money that you put in, you're in debt now, and it can just keep going up. And now it's like Tesla fucking it's so much money now. So like people who short it are in debt. And so Elon Musk made the shorts to make fun of the people who are shorting the stock. That was like the play on words.
That a lot.
Yeah, so he's shorting the shorts.
Which, granted, I mean, he's probably got some of these ideas on his own, but
his team, his team probably came up to him and was like,
literally,
"Hey, what if we make shorts to make fun of the shorts and make it say sexy?"
make it say sexy with the model of the car. Which it's kind of like, didn't the government at one point hire hackers or some shit so that they could learn how people were like hacking into their system?
Well, people do that all the time. It's usually called a bug bounty, and it's where people like will encourage others to hack into their system and then show them how it's hacked, and then they'll pay for it. Tesla did it with a group of PhD students from, I think it was Sweden. They found a way to hack the key card that you have and basically drive away with your Tesla. And so they showed Tesla how they did it, and Tesla paid them a bug bounty, and then they fixed it.
That's so sick. It's a smart thing. And so like that's what he does, but with like trolls, like internet trolls. He's like, hey, you're really funny on Twitter, come work for me. Like that's what I would imagine he would do, is find like the fucking worst people, but like the best people, like the ones that are like meme the fact that there were meme classes at colleges is insane to me. I don't know if you ever heard about that.
I never heard about that, but I totally believe it.
Because
it's about damn time.
it was what companies wanted, because memes are the types of things that like catch people's attention.
Oh yeah.
What, dude? I just heard something recently about that, and somebody was like, I don't know. I'll fuck it all up. Go ahead.
I feel like meme culture really, really was like rooted in like 2008, 2009 era internet, where it was like everything was like either a cat meme or like those poorly drawn faces of like Forever Alone or Troll or Me Gusta, like all of those fucking memes. Yeah. And I feel like those were the starter packs for memes, because people then started like making like 4-panel or 3-panel memes with these faces or with cats, and it had like the big ass bold meme text, like enter bottom text here.
It's like impact with a fucking border around it and shit.
Yes, exactly. I feel like that's where meme culture really started taking off, because it was like it was like LOL cats or whatever fucking .com. was where like people went and they just like click, 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 and just
That's
scrolled
funny.
through stupid fucking memes,
Which
the whole time.
when you look back at those, they're so fucking cringy when people still use them because it's just like, okay, like some of them are funny, like the one where it's like crying through the mask, like he's wearing a smiling mask, but there's tears running behind it.
And those are like, I feel like those are like more modern renditions of the same art style.
Exactly.
This is why you need classes.
And there's an evolution to it, dude. But like all this shit starts from like 4chan and Reddit. And people like that is where you find the darkest fucking like low ends of human beings that just want to like ruin other people's lives.
4chan is a scary place.
It is a fucking scary place, dude. 4chan and Reddit, wasn't it the whole thing of like the cold case where people there, didn't you tell me
That
about
was
that?
Reddit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
that was
fucking
Reddit.
nuts. And 4chan is apparently worse than that. What are they finding out there? What do they know?
4chan is like as close as quote unquote the dark web as you're gonna get is 4chan. Like that's the gate to hell.
I was gonna say like 4chan is, so you have like your Google search and then you click like incognito, right? And it goes black and you're like, ooh, that turns into Reddit, right? 4chan is Reddit's incognito dark web. Like if you could open Reddit and click something and then it'd just be like, you've just gone down to 4chan. Like that's what I imagine it's like.
There was another one in between Reddit and 4chan, and I can't remember what it was. But that one was like the perfect middle ground between the two, because Reddit's super mainstream now and super like a lot of it's really wholesome. Whereas 4chan has continued to go down and down and down. I mean, like the dude who shot up that mosque. It wasn't in America. It was in a different country, and he like live streamed the whole thing. He like was talking about it and had people like in his little like white supremacy cult, like they were all scheming about it on 4chan or one of the 4chan knockoff branches for like days. And they were like, oh my God, he's actually doing it. Like he live streamed it and they were like, holy shit. Like, because this dude was one of the people on there that was just talking about it. Like 4chan is fucking horrible.
Dude, that's where it's like the internet's a creepy fucking place where it's like you can make jokes with people sometimes. And I'm learning this more and more through streaming. Not that I run into it a lot, but like sometimes you'll get somebody that just kind of pops in and like says something, maybe like a little weird or a little uncomfortable. And you're like, huh, okay, I'll just kind of keep an eye on you. And then before you know it, like this was a few months back, but one of the friends that hangs out in there all the time, there was like this kid that came in there, and the friend that was hanging out in there, she said something and the kid said something creepy back, like, yeah, I like it freaky or some shit like that. And I went, you had sent like 3 messages prior to this and then said something that both me and her thought, that's odd. If you say it again, I'm gonna have to, like, the internet is so touchy because you thought, oh, this kid's just kind of hanging out, and then within 4 messages he's trying to hit on someone in the chat that he literally has no idea who they are. It was just a weird fucking thing. And I'm like, you exist. I forget people like you actually exist in the world where you just start saying
it's the
creepy
portal
shit
to
out of
everyone.
Yeah.
It's like in real life and society, it filters out a lot of the weirdos because those weirdos don't want to get like jobs or don't want to interact with the public or don't want to leave their house. And so society will filter out a lot of those people.
Right.
The internet doesn't.
No.
The internet leaves you completely open and exposed, and you can expose yourself to like literally anything and everything. I stand by the fact that we have probably seen more penises than all of our relatives in the past combined.
Yes. Yes. Agreed.
And like we have seen so many deaths and so much gore.
Yeah.
And we're in our 20s. Like we've seen so much shit.
Where it's like numbing, dude. You kind of see it and you go, oh, that's so sad, scroll. Like,
and there's this like sick and twisted part of people, including myself, where it's like you see it and you can't stop watching. Like there's a video and you know it's going to be fucked up and you just keep watching because you're like, it's like the whole like watching a train wreck where people talk about how they like cover their faces with their hands, but watch with one eye open type thing. That's how it is. Like every time I see some shit, I'm like, oh my God, I know this is a cartel video. I know I don't want to watch another guy get his heart pulled out of his chest live and yet I haven't clicked away from it yet.
Right. I mean,
And it's fucking crazy.
when it comes down to those things, because I know how it makes me feel internally and how like not only does it make me feel like shit, but it actually makes me ill, I'll like steer
Mhm.
away. But I know what you're talking about. Like
But
there were a couple that
you
I
know
saw.
that from experience.
Exactly. And so like I've seen a few where I was just like, it's still sometimes like right now I'm not going to say what I saw, but like it repeats in my head and I'm like, oh my God, I can
Dude,
never
it
get that.
brands itself in there.
It doesn't disappear. Like you
No.
can
I
repeat
feel
the
like-
video, and if you were to like to remake it as like a a fake rendition of it, you could do it piece for piece because
Oh,
it
yeah.
brands it that hard.
I think this is like a sliver taste test of how crazy PTSD is.
Mm.
Because like how these gory, awful, traumatizing things like brand themselves into your brain, and you
Mhm.
cannot do anything but like re-experience it if you think about it.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that like that turned up to like 1,000 is what real PTSD is like, where it's just like that experience you lived in real life, you didn't see through like the safety of a screen,
Right.
is branded in there so fucking hard that
It's
you
like
can't get rid of
frightening,
it.
and it actually is kind of
Mhm.
crippling for some people. No, I agree. I was going through the reason why I kept bringing up my phone was I was going through like Elon Musk's tweets just because I was curious. But
That
like
fucking guy.
the guy owns a company and he says Tesla holiday software release is, and he puts a bunch of fire emojis.
Mm-hmm.
He's 14 and I love it.
No, 100%. You know he's the second richest man in the world now?
Is he fucking really?
He passed Bill Gates.
No, he did not.
He's worth like 130 billion now.
No, he's not.
Yeah, it's like last I saw he was just under 130 billion. He Tesla stock has been fucking insane.
Holy shit, 129.8 billion.
Mm-hmm. Damn, I was right there.
Bill Gates is 119. Dude, what in the fuck?
When I tell you Tesla stock has been crazy lately, it's been fucking insane.
He is 49. He's 49 fucking years old, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
If-
He divorced his wife and remarried her? Later?
Who, Elon Musk?
Yeah.
He's had a couple wives.
Tallulah
He's
Riley.
had his-
I just now saw that. Not that it's important, but I'm always interested because I saw her name twice and it was like 2010 to 2012. And then it says 2013 to 2016. Hello? Like,
Yeah, I think so. Probably.
interesting. Dude.
To give you perspective of why he shot up so much, majority, like he owns SpaceX and Tesla, and so
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
Boring Company and Neuralink and all that shit. But SpaceX and Tesla are where the majority of his wealth is. And when you're a CEO of a company like that, and you're like one of the founders, you have like a lot of the stock.
Mhm.
And to give you an example, May 30th, 2019, so last year, Tesla stock was $37 a share. Today, this last week, it almost hit $600 a share. Now multiply that by the millions of shares that guy has, and you can see how he went from, oh, super cool entrepreneur startup guy to second richest in the world.
It was at what originally?
Um,
How much a share?
May 30th last year, it was $30-something a share.
30 something?
I can
Like
pull up
30
the exact-
bucks?
Yeah, it was
It was 30
$37.
No, there's no wait.
$37 because it's split adjusted. The Tesla stock is split into 5. So what it actually was back then was 37 times 5.
Oh, okay.
But then you also have to multiply today's share price by 5 if you want the real
Oh
comparison.
my fucking god, dude.
But it's just adjusted to make it easier. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was like 30 it hovered around $30 to $40 from May to June.
You
A share,
literally
and
multiply
now it's
everything you own by
$600.
20.
Yeah, about.
I mean 30 to 600.
Yeah,
Like
20-fold. About.
dude, what the fuck?
And so
Imagine
if he
having
had
a mil
millions of
invested and then you
shares-
got 20 mil. Like
Mm-hmm.
I did the math on Bitcoin when it was at its peak, like last year, I think it was.
Oh God, yeah.
and where it was originally and how it used to be a penny stock. And I had looked at it, and I did I think it was like if you had put $1 into it, you would have had like somewhere around like 10 or $100 million or some shit like that.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Dude, what the fuck? Like that's because it was like worth 11 grand, so it was like $1 million. $1 turned into $1 million or something like that. And I was like, that. But I mean, you had to have literally looked at penny stocks at the time it started.
You
drop
haven't been
$1.
super educated in that field, yeah.
Yeah.
So to give you an example, 10 years ago, Tesla went public, and that was when you first could buy its stock. And if I adjust it for the split currently, so you can get a real estimate, Tesla's stock price, split adjusted, 10 years ago was $3.40 a share.
Anger.
There were college students
Anger.
who really liked Tesla when it first came out 10 years ago, and they put like 10 grand into it.
Anger. Boiling blood right now. Like but I mean, you look at that stuff, and that's the same thing as when you look at anything and you go, "Oh, I should have done that," and it's like, fucking whatever. I'm living right now.
Yeah. Well, my next one that I want to dump money in, like I literally plan on saving money to dump into this when it goes public, so I can give everybody their little, if it happens, I told you so thing, is Starlink. Which is the branch of SpaceX that's creating internet for the entire world through satellites. Elon Musk tweeted about how they're going to probably go public with that company within the next like 5 years.
No shit. I wonder so can stocks for things, especially coming from a guy like Elon Musk, can they start higher?
You basically can decide, like you have to go off of the value of your company. So if your company's worth like $1 million, and then the price of the stock will be determined off of how many shares you put out. So if you put out 1 million shares, then every stock price will be $1 each.
Okay.
And then as the price goes up and whatnot. But if you only put out 100 shares, then you do the math, it'll be way more per share.
Right, of course.
And so it'll be based off of how much, if he branches off Starlink and makes it its own company, because he probably will. I mean, that'll be its entirely different revenue source from SpaceX. SpaceX's money is from government contracts saying, take our payloads and put them in space, please. And SpaceX goes, okay. But Starlink is Elon Musk's own thing where he also puts his payload in there, and he's like, I'm going to put some satellites around the world so that everybody can have internet. Since that's an entirely different revenue source, he's probably going to create it as its own separate entity, meaning that it'll be its own company to invest in. So SpaceX won't go public. You can't invest your money in SpaceX, but you'll be able to invest your money in Starlink. And everyone in the world will be a customer, or a potential customer, technically. All you will need is like the router to be able to log in or tap into that satellite, and then you have internet, and it'll be high speed, like faster than fiber cable.
I can see like why people kind of look at him and go like, that's a super villain, because like it's pretty goddamn close. He's doing a lot.
It's just crazy. And it's crazy that like nobody else wanted to do this shit, man. Like I could have told you 10 years ago as a kid, because I was telling people 10 years ago as a kid that like electric cars should be the thing. Like, like it was generally kind of just known that like, well, if gas creates fossil fuels, then that's bad, and electricity doesn't, why don't we just make cars electric? And there were electric cars back then. It's just hybrids.
Right.
And like the, excuse for the automakers was, oh, well, it's expensive. And then the tech startup came and fucking blew everyone out of the water. And so like there have been these opportunities, but people aren't like reaching for shit like he does. Like,
well, I mean, there's also
like Warren Buffett has had, billions and billions of dollars. He could have started up a Tesla or started up a Starlink with his own funds easily, but he didn't. And it's like, you need to have the guy who's willing to put his balls on the line to do it and has the funds to do it. And he got his money from starting PayPal.
Right. And like Elon Musk has constantly been, by constantly, I mean, at least once a year, if not more, on the brink of like being bankrupt or losing his fucking mind, or he's constantly, when I say on the brink, it's what
he's risking it.
Huh?
He's risking it. He's putting
he
big
risks it
out
all.
there, yeah.
And for like most
Mhm.
people, it's like it's not worth the gamble type thing, which that's just boring, obviously. But at the same time, when you look at your millions, if not billions of dollars, and you go, do I want to be poor? Like poor. Like I mean like not
Mhm.
have anything, because I literally invested everything into this. Like the fact that he took all of PayPal and threw it into Tesla and was
Mhm.
living like a very
He was sleeping on the factory floor.
yeah, he was going for scraps, dude, because he had that much faith in himself and his company, which is it's beautiful to see, but had he failed,
Mhm.
everyone shits on you, you know?
Oh, of course. And like the other thing that sets him apart is he's the chief engineer. He's not just like the suit and tie CEO guy. He's an engineer. He is on the fucking blueprint table with the other engineers designing the shit.
Yeah.
Like with the physics, with all the fancy schmancy numbers and letters. He's doing that. And like that's the difference between like him and like Jeff
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos or
Of course, who
Warren
has no
Buffett.
fucking idea who works for him.
Like, well, I know fucking Bezos is smart. I don't know if he's an engineer though. I don't know if he's the one like actually doing the designing.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
may come up with ideas, but
Oh no, I just mean the fact that like know someone that used to work for Tesla and
Mhm.
said like he's met Elon a few times because in the middle of work Elon has come up and just started talking to them, not only to get
Mhm.
to know them but to like see what they're up to, see if they have any ideas, that kind of thing, and would like pull people to the side. The guy runs the company how you should run a company. You got to like
Mhm.
you know the
He's in the
people that-
trenches.
yeah, and like obviously everybody has their negative parts. Everybody does. Anybody that's sitting there like I don't like him because bitch, you were probably a bully in high school. Like stop. Like whatever. You're not a saint.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's the
At
fact
the
that
end of the
like
day, he's making a world a better place. Like, shut the fuck up.
why are you complaining so much? Like I don't
Mhm.
understand. Like
Yeah.
are you doing anything half as close to what he's doing to help, or even half as fucking cool, dude? Like it's shit that you saw in movies when you were a kid and were like, oh, that'd be so cool if that happened. He's fucking gonna be Iron Man. Who knows? He's gonna start flying around in a
Dude.
suit.
Another thing is, you know how he has the Boring Company, right?
Yeah.
And he's creating the plan is to create a bunch of like tunnels under a bunch of cities so that people can travel and beat traffic and shit and
Yeah.
kind of take the congestion of inner city traffic and turn it down a notch. Fun fact that they don't really mention that often is the only cars that are going to be able to use the boring tunnels are electric cars.
Oh.
Gas cars can't use them because the exhaust will be a fire hazard in the tunnels.
Oh no shit.
You can only do it with electric cars. This man is a fucking genius.
Dude, do you know that
And who's dominating the electric car space?
that he's so smart?
He's a fucking genius. I'm telling you, dude.
Oh, he's so smart, man. I wonder
You're gonna
how they're
have
gonna
your Tesla. You're gonna have your Tesla driving in the boring tunnel and come out and connect to the Starlink internet, and it's all gonna be the same dude.
But what's cool about it is like, at least to me and everything that I see, that, you know, I'm not this fucking person that reads into it one way or another. I don't think like he's the best person in the world. And I don't think he's the worst person in the
Mhm.
world.
Exactly.
He doesn't, from what it seems like right now, it doesn't seem like he's doing all of this to make sure he gets to be on top. You know, he doesn't
No,
he doesn't do this
They-
making it seem like, okay, once I get the internet, the cars, the traffic on my side, I'm
and
gonna
the
have
brain chips.
everything, and then once I have it all, you're mine. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't seem that way. It just seems like
Well, because I have a good chunk of my money in Tesla, I listen to all the quarterly investor calls. I listen to all of like the updates and everything.
side
and-
note, just gonna say what you just said has been that one sentence. The quarterly investor calls, I've wanted to gouge my eyes out at those words before. That sounded so boring. But I get it. I just had to
Every
say that.
3 months, Elon Musk talked to people who give him money.
It's funny. It's funny.
But I listen to like all the nitty gritty back office shit about the company, and like they state publicly all the time, the goal of their company is to for Tesla. The goal of the company is to transition the world to electric. That's it. All of their patents are out there to be copied for free for other companies to use. They do not prosecute other companies for using their patents. There are a bunch of EV startups that are using their old software and using their old parts and stuff, and are like on the come up because Tesla lets their patents out and lets people use their stuff.
See, like, how can you be mad? I just don't feel like people who are like angry about that shit know. It's like, dude, it's the same thing as like people on YouTube who just give free knowledge. Like, they're just giving it
Exactly.
out. And
Yes.
and that's one of the main
Because they want the world to
things-
be a better place.
That's one of the main things that Gary Vee talks about a lot. He's just like, stop thinking that like everything you do you need to like make money about, right? Like, sometimes just giving and giving and giving is more valuable than constantly trying to see how you can take after giving.
Mm-hmm. I did not know how rich Gary Vee was.
Dude,
I knew he was rich, but I didn't know he was that fucking
his goal
rich.
is to buy the jets, and he's gonna fucking do it before he dies.
Dude, last I saw, like, because I was talking to Sean. Sean loves Gary Vee.
Oh, dude, he's such a
And-
fucking cool dude. I'm curious.
And I didn't know that he was worth that much, but yeah, he was born in Russia. The dude fucking immigrated here.
Yeah, his parents
And
like
he's worth $200 million.
Yeah, dude.
He's about to hit $250 million.
Yeah.
That's so fucking
his
insane.
dad, I don't know the full backstory of it. I've never really looked into everything. I just hear him talk about it. But I think his dad owned a wine store or something like that. And like they weren't making a lot. And he started like figuring out how to build the business and capitalizing off of that more. But it all started with wine. Like, wine's one of his biggest things. And so now
That's
he has
cool.
like, I think he has his own wine. He has like, people respect the fuck out of this guy within like the wine community, because you know that's like a fancy thing. But and so like they have he's another one of those people that like just kind of invests in everything. One of my favorite fucking things that he talks about is how he didn't invest in, I think it's Uber. And he was like, I had a chance to invest in Uber when it first had started. People had come to me and said like, you know, you should do this. And he said no. And he said, and to this day, like, I don't know if he says it's one of his regrets. I don't know if he uses regret or not, but like, he was like, yeah, I should have fucking done it. Because dude, he would have been a billionaire at this point, because he would have invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into it. Just like fucking Ashton Kutcher, I think, did it, right? I think Ashton Kutcher invested into Uber. And that's where like a lot of his money came from. have to make sure I
all
get
I
all
know
this right.
is, and again, I'm nerding out about Tesla, so I apologize. This is like half the talk of the fucking episode. But
Elon Musk is my dad.
basically,
There's the title.
Tesla's gonna run Uber out of business
You think so?
when quote me on it, November 28th, 2020, and I would have called it earlier, but we never talked about it. Tesla is working on full self-driving, and they have in plan, as soon as full self-driving is approved by the government and they're finished with the software and it rolls out, they will start a robotaxi service where it's Uber but without the driver. And if you own a Tesla, you can take your Tesla while you're at work, turn on robotaxi, and it will go out and give rides to people and you'll get paid. And then it'll come back to you at the end of the day when you get off work, and then you'll take your car,
Full of
and then
throw
you
up,
drive home.
full of cum, full of shit. And you'll get to drive it home.
And you drive it home. And they will charge so pennies to the dollar on what Uber charges for a ride. Like,
Yeah,
people,
because it's like there's nothing to really
it's
charge for.
there's nothing to charge for but the fucking electricity and then the little share that Tesla gets on top.
Yeah, I remember Polda had talked to us
Polda's
about
been
it.
talking about this for years,
he's been
dude.
I was in his class in like 2011, and the dude was
Mhm.
like, at one, because I don't know, he loved talking about that shit. That's why I always want to like talk to him more. Like, eventually, once we can have him on.
Yeah.
He was talking about the fact that at some point we will not have
Cars.
our own cars anymore.
Yeah.
It will literally
Dude.
just be an app, or you call a number, and a car with no one in it will just roll up. No one owns anything anymore. You just get in it, and some of them, you can get like an individual one, or you can get like a group share, or like a shared ride. And that's it. And then what he was also talking about, which I can't wait, because when it happens, I don't care what time we're doing this podcast, whatever, that's when I'm getting him on, is he said there's going to be a system that there will be a line of 10 cars, but because it's all integrated into one system, the cars all communicate to each other, right? So the line can be as long or short as it needs to be. But he said we'll never have accidents, or accidents will be very rare, not never. Where
and traffic will be rare.
Traffic will be rare because the cars will all in sync ride together. At a red light, the biggest reason that when it turns green that there's a lot of traffic is because people don't pay attention, or there's like latency, right? So if there's a line of 10 cars, you don't start moving for like 10 or 15 seconds if you're in the very back, because people haven't started moving yet. You'll miss that fucking light. When if it was a line that they all communicate, they can all be within inches of each other. And
just move.
And if it sees something in the road, the first car goes, go right. And all the cars will move right to avoid the thing in the road. And I was like, Polta, you're a fucking genius. Like, and he was calling this shit 10 years ago, if not even more than that, because I mean, I only was in his class 10 years ago. But it's like, how did you come up with this? And he's like, that's exactly what it's going to be like.
That's what happens when you're like properly educated on the like current technology, and you have like a good ability of like seeing how it could play out. And I can only imagine the fucking predictions the dude has now. But like people are talking about how like in inner cities, like as long as there's enough Teslas in that inner city, when full self-driving comes out, you won't need a car. You won't need to buy one, because you can it will be so fucking cheap to just get in the car and have it drive you wherever and drop you off. And like people, and this is one thing, and it's mainly old people, and by old people, I mean people that are like 10, 20, 30 years older than me and up, that are like, oh no, like I don't trust the robot car. It's going to get me in an accident and blah, blah, blah. And
the same Y2K people?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. The statistics consistently show that self-driving is safer and get in less accidents than humans, because self-driving is paying attention with 100% focus at all times and instantly reacts. Whereas people are like, oh, I got to respond to this text. Oh, what song am I listening to?
Oh, I have to sneeze.
Oh, I don't like this color of my layout. Yeah. Oh, I have to sneeze. Oh, I just didn't see that.
Oh, I had a fucking aneurysm. Like, here's the main thing. That
I had a fucking aneurysm. Oh, an aneurysm.
Oh, no. Here's the thing that really bothered me when the self-driving robot cars first started, the one accident that happened, right? And nobody decided to talk about the guy, at least at first, the guy that was driving it, that wasn't paying attention, or
he was on his phone.
He was on his phone. And I think
there was a dude who went straight into the meridian, like straight in the middle divider, just fucking straight into it and killed him. And they found out he was on Clash of Clans when he died.
Sick. I love how they can figure that shit out. What a weird fucking world. I'm talking about the guy that drove underneath a truck and it decapitated him. It cut off the whole top of the car. I believe that's what happened. And the car kept driving because it didn't cut off the
my God.
It's creepy. And I think that was one that happened, but they're like, oh, it's the car's fault. And it's like, not only did it not say it's full self-driving, but
it says that
there's a human, and it's a human error, dude. Everything's human error. It's always human error. Like I had problems with my
computer. If you're in the cockpit, you're driving the shit.
Yeah. Like, yes, things are going to fail. 100% things are going to fail. But how much more often, is that right? Yeah. How much more often does a human fuck up versus technology fuck up?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Like how, like
we get pissed when technology fucks up, but we get pissed when technology fucks up because we have the standard that it should never fuck up.
Right.
And if you put it on a fucking timeline, technology fucks up way less than people do.
Like my favorite sentence that I even say myself is like, I paid how much money for this fucking thing and it doesn't do what I want it to do. Like my computer, all the issues that I was having, I finally learned months later that it was me that had plugged in one thing wrong. And there were two basically it was two things trying to communicate down one aisle, and you can't do that. I was trying to squeeze 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. Like, it wasn't allowing it. I changed the cords around. Haven't had a fucking problem since. Nothing.
That's
Everything's
funny.
great. So it's like
Human error.
human error. I fucked up at first. Yeah, it was the computer fucking up because I made it fuck up. Like,
Yeah.
the point being was that it's like when you look at technology and you look, how often is an accident going to be caused by a system that has what they've determined to be pretty much 99% accuracy? The only reason it has 99% instead of 100 is because of that one accident where it had a minor malfunction. Like,
Well, yeah, you're going to have malfunctions. I mean, that's why it's not full self-driving yet. Like,
Yeah.
they know and they tell you, hey, work in progress. This is still a beta. Like, we are working on it. So until then, stay alert. Get ready to, take control whenever you need to. But, like, most of the time, you won't have to.
it's just, I don't know. It's so weird to me. By the way, side note on the Ashton Kutcher thing, his Uber investment made him the ultimate celebrity investor, the former 70s star, or that 70s show star, alongside music manager Guy Osari, invested $500,000 in Uber starting in one of its first rounds. I believe when he invested that 500,000, he and his partner at A Grade turned their 30 million funds into 250 million funds over 6 years by investing in tech companies such as Skype, Spotify, Airbnb, and Uber. Oh, and Foursquare. All of those things, all of those companies are companies you know now, and they invested when they first started. Dude, Spotify, 3 million they invested. Airbnb was 2.5 million. Uber was 500,000. When they started, these are fucking companies that are at the top, dude. You use them all the time. That money, that's a lot of fucking money.
Capitalism, baby.
Dude, I remember just on the topic of Ashton Kutcher, when this whole pandemic shit started, he put out a wine with, I believe he did it with Mila Kunis, but it was just him putting out the wine called Kutcher and Kunis wanted to help create a wine and contribute 100% of the profits to COVID-19 relief efforts. So it was a bottle of wine that you could buy that had like a blank thing on it, like a blank label, and you could write like a note on it, or you can write to somebody or call it whatever you wanted, right? And I think it was like 1 or 2 bottles of wine that you got, and whatever you spent, not a single fucking penny went to them. They just put it straight into relief efforts. And it was like, I don't know, like, they're good people. Like, he just went out of his way to spend a shit ton of money so that he could help. And
people don't see that.
Right.
People will see, rich man bad, like, oh, rich man greedy, rich man take money and
rich
buy
man
expensive
has what I
things.
don't have, so I'm going to call them what I want.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like people are going to hate on Elon Musk a lot more now because he is second richest in the world, because he has, $130 billion, and it only takes blank billion to fix blank chronic human problem in society. As if, like, I have no fucking idea how these people fucking come up with these numbers, but they're like, it'll only take like $100 billion to solve world hunger. No,
No,
what?
pretty sure it's not how it works.
Yeah, and
Also,
obviously they
meanwhile,
probably say
he's
shit like 100 trillion or whatever, but
he's trying to create internet for the world, but that's not enough.
that's what I'm saying is, like, he takes his money and he puts his money into projects that are supposed to make the world better. And when they do that, the way that a capitalist society works is the value you put in, you get rewarded for it. And so if you create something that is super, super fucking valuable, like, I don't know, moving away from fossil fuels or providing the world internet or Neuralink or all this shit, and it becomes valuable to billions of people, then you will get rewarded for that. Like, that is just how it works. And then what you do is you take that money and you go start another fucking project. Jeff Bezos is working on the same shit that SpaceX is working on. He has his own SpaceX. I forget what it's called. It's like something blue, but he has his own space company that he's doing, and he's working on reusable rockets as well. It's like these guys take this money and then they go and work on these crazy fucking projects. They don't just have a savings account of $130 billion and they're just sitting there with fucking like champagne and caviar.
I mean,
on a
granted,
golden
there
chair.
are some things that, like, I do agree on. And not that I know how the money works. It's just the fact that it, like, I will agree. Yeah, it's kind of shitty that Amazon workers work these insane fucking hours where they're literally sprinting. There were things that I read that people who work for Amazon, they were like, by the end of my shift, am dripping in sweat, exhausted, and fucking stressed beyond belief, and I make like $12 an hour. And I was like, yeah, that kind of sucks. But do I know how that works? Do I know whose fault that is? Do I know who's actually controlling any of that? No.
Is that the exception or the rule?
Right. Like, is it just this one guy that's stressing himself out because it's, the one story that I read, or maybe like the handful of stories that I read, when they have literally tens of thousands of people employed, if not hundreds of thousands of people employed. So really, like, there's going to be a give and take everywhere. And I'm not saying like have the few suffer for the many. I'm not saying that whatsoever, because that's just a fucking, but it is the unfortunate thing that does happen.
Yeah. And it's like, at the end of the day, like we talked about this before, life isn't fucking fair, man. Like, you don't deserve the same spot at the top that someone else does, or if they deserve it at all. Like, that's just not how life works. Life is, you get what you put in. That's how it works.
Yeah. Like,
and so if you're not putting in shit, if what you put in is I'm a worker at Amazon, then that is what you will get out, is what a worker at Amazon gets out.
right.
If you start Amazon, then you're going to get what you put out, like what you put in.
Right.
And so if you don't
and
like your job, then you make a plan to get a better one that pays better and start your own business, or do your own thing, or become an entertainer, or whatever. But there are avenues to take, rather than just being like, the first job I picked should pay me enough to buy a house. Like,
like, don't get me wrong. And I know that you're not saying this either. It's just to clarify that, like, sometimes, dude, the work that you put in doesn't give you what you want or need, but that's just a hard
Correct.
fucking part of life that just happens.
That's my current job. Like I put in a shit ton of work in my job, and I would love to get paid more, and I don't get paid enough to like get my own place, or to do this thing, or to, like transition to fully adult life. But I'm not sitting here like demanding that my company then pay me enough. I'm finding out how I can get enough money, and I'm working on different avenues.
If it doesn't work for you, you look into something else. And
yeah, it's not making the problem other people's problem. It's making it my problem.
Right.
Self-accountability.
Every case is different. Everybody's unique in their own way. We get it, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. It's like, don't complain about it and do nothing about it. Like, if you need to complain about it, or you need to vent about it, everybody needs to. Everybody has problems. That's totally fine. But if that's all you're going to do, like, if that's every conversation that you're going to have, shut the fuck up. Like, you're not doing anything to better your situation.
At that point, it's all your own doing.
Yeah.
Like, the subtle art of not giving a fuck lays it out very clearly, in a sense of, like, nobody gives a fuck about you. Like, you need to do your thing, and you need to figure it out. If you don't like your life, that's on you to change it. And if you are too scared to change it, then that's, again, on you.
And, like, the other thing that I think goes into that is, it's not just the one thing that you need to change in order for your life to be better. Like, if you were happy with 9 aspects of your life, but unhappy with one of them, you're not going to be miserable. You're miserable because you have 9 aspects that you're unhappy with and only one that you're happy with. Like, there's clearly other factors that play into your unhappiness. It's not just, oh, my fucking job sucks, so I'm going to complain about it all the time. No, your mentality sucks. Maybe your fucking diet sucks. Your exercise sucks. Your sleep sucks, because you're not taking care of, like, the other things that are making you complain about the one thing that you think is the detriment of your life.
Dude, who I am at my job off 7 hours of sleep is way different than who I am at my job off 4 or 5.
Right. And, like, you still come with a good mood.
And it's the same job.
Like, even after you work, and we've had podcasts where I've taken the fucking the wheel because you were too goddamn tired, but you still came with a good mood. You still came with a smile on your face, because you know that we kind of have to for the podcast. You're not going to be miserable the whole time. You know that you have to do that. You know that you should do that. You know that other things in your life are pretty good. So, like,
life's better when you do
aside from
that.
being tired, you didn't really have a shit fucking day. You're just exhausted. Like,
I very, very rarely do I have total shit days. I have shit moments in my days, and I may have some days that are more shit than not. but it's still not a total shit day. Like it's so rare. And it, again, like this is a whole other rabbit hole that would take an entire podcast, and we've touched on it many a time, but it's mindset. It's like the things you complain about in life, whether or not you see people like Elon Musk as a villain or a superhero or just a guy doing good, whether or not you hate your life or demand that your random company pay you $20 an hour or whatever, like all of that is mindset.
Yeah.
And until people figure that out, they're just going to think, oh, the world sucks, the world shits on me, and boo-hoo, woe is me. And everyone else who's succeeding, the difference between them and you is either crazy ass luck or mindset.
Right. And keep in mind, this is all, everything that I just went on about is coming from somebody who has been in a really bad spot where they're just kind of fucking complaining about life and nothing's really going their way. And then once I got my shit together, I went, oh, it's me. It's me not working on the things. It's me not working on me. Like,
it's self-accountability.
Yeah, that's all it is. That's literally exactly what it is you taking your problems and pinning it on something rather than it being you.
Mm-hmm. I think this self-accountability realization that kind of slaps you around in your 20s is a big reason why people start off. Yeah, if it does, that's a good fucking point. But I think that's a good reason why you see the older people get, the more like conservative they get, is because a lot of, without getting it too political, a lot of like super conservative people are like, self-accountability, hold yourself accountable, do it yourself, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, yada, yada, yada. And then a lot of people on the opposite side of the spectrum are like, the government should do this for me, or institutions should do this for me, or billionaires should do this for me, or politicians should do this for me. And I feel like the reason you see that skew of a lot of younger people are left wing and have that mindset, and a lot of older people are more right wing and more conservative. And of course, most people are in the middle. But where you look at the leans and where people are leaning, it tends to follow that structure with age. And I think it's because, like, the older you get, the more times life slaps you around and you realize that no one's there for you. No one's going to do that shit for you. No one's going to hold your hand.
Right.
And once you get that self-accountability aspect, then you realize, okay, well, maybe I don't need the government to do this for me, or I don't need blank politician or blank billionaire to do this for me. Maybe if I just, take the reins of my own life and figure it out, then like I'll be fine.
Yeah. And again, just to be very clear,
there are the worst case scenarios. There are the exceptions. There are the people who do need government help, who do need something to step in or somebody to help them, and that's fine.
We're just talking about the fucking pussies that want to just complain when they can clearly do something about it. Like, if I can,
your average Joe.
If I can look at you and actually know you, like if Caleb came to me complaining about something and I was just like, "Yo, what the fuck are you complaining? Like, what are you actually complaining about right now?" If I can look at you and say that, that's the people we're talking about, not the fucking rare cases. So don't get all up in arms about that shit.
The median household income in America is anywhere from 50 to 60 grand a year. That is enough to get your shit together. So the average person this applies to. Plain and simple, man. With that being said, time to wrap it up.
I was like, oh, got no more points. Yeah, that was good. That felt nice. Yeah, that was a nice little
it's like we've done this podcast thing a time or two.
It's almost like we've done 83 episodes. And with that being said, thank you for listening to the Nick and Tub podcast. This was episode 83. We appreciate you, but also you can go fuck yourself.
Bye guys, love you.